Veronica Escobar, Congresswoman for El Paso.
Thank you, ma'am. Talk a little bit about what we talked about the Congress shutdown.
We are now into a full week since the federal government shut down. And I am here in El Paso because Speaker Mike Johnson, who is the Republican leader of the House of Representatives, basically shut down the House, is not open to bipartisan negotiations. And as a reminder, the House, the Senate, the White House are all controlled by the Republican Party. So while I am in El Paso, my team and I are doing everything we can to make sure federal employees have all of the resources possible in order to allay some of their anxieties and the stress that they are dealing with. And on Friday, the first group of federal employees, for the first time in this shutdown, will not receive a paycheck. And that is a number of El Pasoans. So we want to make sure that El Pasoans know there are options and there's help available to them, primarily through credit unions. There are a number of credit unions in El Paso, and they serve tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of El Pasoans, and many of them are offering some really good support. Some were here with me today, some were not able to make it. So for example, Navy Federal Credit Union, USAA, they are providing zero interest loans to their members so that instead of going without a paycheck on Friday, they can access the amount they need to pay their bills, to buy groceries, to put gas in their car, et cetera. But a number of our other local credit unions, those who were here today and others, are offering a number of resources, including loans. But they're offering lots of different options like skip a payment, a number of things. So we want to encourage El Pasoans to reach out to their credit unions. If you are not a member, it's not too late. You can become a member, but it's important for people to take action before Friday, before they miss their paycheck. There will be another group of employees next week from different agencies who could miss a paycheck if we do not come to an agreement and reopen the government quickly. But because Friday is 2 days away, we wanted to make sure to remind people about their options.
Can you talk about, how much this is costing El Paso? Like, people are not going to be spending money, going out to eat, if this goes much longer.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
My hope is that if federal employees take advantage of many of the zero interest loan opportunities, this will not cost them. So that option is available. Government shutdowns are terrible. They are stressful. They are unnecessary. They should not happen. There should not be government shutdowns. It's important for the two sides to always talk to one another. That didn't happen this time. That's why there's a shutdown. But we're in it now, and it could be very costly if people go without their paycheck, but we are trying to avoid that. We are trying to make sure that people have access to the funds they need so that they can continue to pay their bills, put gas in their car, fulfill the needs that they and their family members have. And these zero interest loans, again, not every institution has zero interest loans, but many of them do. If you get a zero interest loan, you will have access to the funds you need. And when the federal government reopens and you are paid back, you just use that back pay to pay off that zero interest loan.
And talk about, you mentioned government employees to reach out to the utility companies.
Yes. I think it's the other very important message for folks to know is they need to be proactive and reach out to everyone that they pay their bills to if they are not going to take zero interest loans, if they don't have the ability to access the funds they need during the temporary shutdown, please reach out to your utility companies. They also have programs. They have hardship programs so that if there's extra help that you need, it's available. I think the bottom line is take action now to make sure you're not in a moment of emergency on Friday.
Just talk about Saturday.
Yes, thank you. Great questions. Thank you. Keeping me on task. On Saturday, we're having a town hall that will double as a resource fair. And it really is not just to talk to all El Pasoans, but the resource fair is specifically for federal employees. So we've invited the credit unions to have a presence there. We will have other local organizations that will have a presence there so that federal employees who need access to these resources can find them all in one place. It'll be Saturday at 9 a.m. at Project Amistad on Dyer.
Can you talk really quick about, and you mentioned this in your press conference, but can you talk a little bit about what you tell the government employees about this, what people are saying that they may not get paid eventually from,
Yes.
the
Perfect.
higher ups. And you mentioned that it's technically against the law to do that.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. We are seeing the White House float all sorts of threats during this government shutdown. We heard a threat early on that the White House would be firing thousands upon thousands of federal employees. We also heard this week the White House float the idea that they don't have to pay furloughed federal employees back. Well, that's wrong. That would be against the law. Now, we know Donald Trump violates federal law, violates the Constitution on a regular basis. But I'll tell you, I think there would be even Republicans who would stand up to him on this issue. It would be a terrible violation of the law. Frankly, a law he signed. The last time the U.S. was in a government shutdown was during the first Trump administration, which was the longest government shutdown in American history. I was in Congress at that time. I was sworn in to a government shutdown. And before I was sworn in, who was in control of every branch of government? It was Republicans. They had the House, the Senate, the White House. They shut down the government. I was sworn in and we flipped the House, control of the House. And when the government reopened, we passed a law to guarantee that federal employees would get paid once the government reopened. The president who signed that law, Donald Trump. So he is going to continue to float all sorts of crazy threats. We will stand up to him every single time.
Lastly for me, can you talk a little bit about the troops getting sent from Texas to Illinois? I know it's not in topic, but
yeah, no, absolutely. Throughout this shutdown, one of the really driving forces behind this shutdown is our fight, Democrats' fight, to make sure that Americans don't continue to find themselves in an economic crisis. We're seeing groceries go up. We're seeing utility costs go up. The president had promised he'd fix the cost of living on day one. It's been the opposite. Prices keep going up. We're now facing a health insurance premium explosion that we're trying to prevent. And instead of focusing on the economic crisis that Americans are facing, what is Donald Trump focused on? He's focused on sending the military and National Guard to other states to allegedly fight crime. And in Texas, we're seeing the Texas National Guard deployed by Governor Greg Abbott being sent to Illinois. Can you imagine? I mean, I want folks to imagine if a governor of another state sent the National Guard to our community to patrol our streets against the will of our own governor. How would people feel? It is unlawful, it's insane, but it's all part of this Republican playbook to distract people from the everyday hardship they're facing, from the economic crisis they're facing, and trying to divert attention away from their failure to work with us on addressing that crisis.